Hi, welcome to Local Matters. I'm Dorothy Miller, and today we're talking about Proactive's Junior L Tour. Our guests are John Wolf, who's a physical therapist and owner of Proactive Physical Therapy, and Scott Blanchard, who is a top-rated cyclist and is currently rated elite level as a coach. It is a pleasure to have you both with us.
Nice to be here.
Thank you, Dorothy.
I would like to hear a little bit more about how you got into the field that you're in and what you're trying to do.
Well, good. Well, I can tell you a little bit about what it took to get me to be a physical therapist.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, not unlike many people, I had an injury at one point when I was participating in sports. And I was fascinated what happened after I was injured and the process I had to go through in order to get better and back on the field. And I had the good fortune of working with a physical therapist who really helped me to understand what was wrong and also encouraged me and gave me the specific strengthening exercises and the encouragement to get back to playing. And so once I got back into my sport, I recognized that, you know what, I'm more interested in getting in the field of healthcare so that I could help people. But I was also interested and fascinated with how the body actually heals itself, how it repairs itself, and how it begins to function better. So that's pretty much what got me into being a physical therapist.
So essentially, you went from the problem that you had and into physical therapy. And what did that mean? Did you go to a lot of school or training? Lots?
That's correct. You know, physical therapists right now actually get out of school with a doctorate degree. So many physical therapists are doctors of physical therapy. And I went to school also to study athletic training. So I've worked with Division I athletes for many years as the Director of Sports Medicine for the University of Arizona. So when I worked with Division I athletes there, I also studied biomechanics and motor control. So really physical therapists are professionals who focus on function of the musculoskeletal system. We make sure that the bones and the joints and the muscles work well. And if the bones and muscles work well, we often are able to address a lot of pain problems that people experience.
So essentially, you're in healthcare.
Exactly. We're physical therapists are allied healthcare providers.
Right.
We work right along with physicians and nurse practitioners and physician's assistants and nurses to try to provide healthcare to people who need to begin moving better.
So Scott, how about your background and how you got involved in your program? What you're doing right now?
Yeah, I got into sports young, obviously, as many of us do, and transitioned as I got older into high-level cycling. I started doing some duathlons and running races, but ultimately decided I was a better cyclist than I was at anything else. So a few years into that, you spend an enormous amount of time gathering information and learning how to properly train and eat and take care of yourself. And I decided with a partner of mine to found a coaching company, Pyramid Coaching, to address athletic training for other people. And that was founded in 1996 and been training athletes ever since.
So you've been cycling for quite a while, and you were rated top cyclist, and then you made the decision to go into coaching. Is that correct?
You know, I actually started coaching while I was training to become a good high-level cyclist. And I did some mountain biking previous to that and raced professionals in mountain biking, and then transitioned to road cycling and started training more road cyclists, and that's where we are today.
I would like to hear more about what this program is. What is this tour? What are you trying to do? Why don't you start, John, and jump right in, Scott, whenever you want to. Who are you gearing the program towards? What is the program?
Well, the Proactive Junior L Tour program was founded 3 years ago because we realized that the program was an opportunity to get kids involved with cycling. And many people know that Tucson is rated one of the highest cities in the nation for its support of cycling. I think we're a platinum city.
Let me interrupt long enough to say we just had on the screen some more information about this program, and maybe we can bring it back up just a moment so that you can actually address how people find out more about the program. This is Proactive's Junior L Tour, so why don't you tell us a little bit more and then jump right back in. But tell us a little bit more how people can find out more about it.
Well, you can find out more about the program by going to the website, and we have some information there. And of course, watching this program, this is one way to learn more about it.
Right.
And we've actually had a couple of really good exposures, and including the Arizona Daily Star did an article on exactly what the program is, and KUET has done a section on exactly what we're doing. But really, the program is about trying to engage our young people in the community to get more involved with cycling. And this is one of the first step in order to get these kids more involved. And oftentimes people don't get involved because they don't have the know-how, nor do they have the resources. So we figured what we would do is take a group of underprivileged and underserved or underactive kids, and we would begin to bring them into what we do in terms of our healthcare. And Scott is an elite level coach, and we at Proactive Physical Therapy are very invested in creating an environment for healing and for health. So when we bring these kids together, we have the opportunity to provide them some expert training. We also provide them some of the equipment which will allow them to accomplish something. And for young kids to accomplish something physical it says a lot about a program, and also says a lot about what kids are capable of doing. So they walk out feeling like they've really accomplished something.
What do they really experience during the program? How does it work?
Yeah, I can sort of outline the details of the program. Like John said, we launched it 3 years ago. It's been developing ever since and expanding to accommodate more children. The idea is to reach as many people as we possibly can. The training program actually entails 36 training sessions, individual sessions. During the weekday, we do hour sessions with them, and on the weekend, we do 3-hour sessions outside on the bicycles. The indoor sessions are more comprehensive cardio development, strength development, and then we move outside to the actual bicycles where it becomes a little more interesting. Some of these kids have actually never even been on bikes, which is amazing to me, this day.
So they don't even have to start knowing how to get on and ride a straight line
I've really
or
had
ride
to
any
teach
kind of line.
kids how to ride a bike, almost training wheels,
Right.
for 12-year-old kids, which is remarkable when you think about it, that our society is so far removed from physical activity these days that the schools don't provide it and the parents don't provide it, and
Right.
the kids don't have access to it. So,
Right, I can remember my dad running along behind me, holding me
Yeah.
up until I...
and I've literally had to do that with a couple of the kids to bring them up to speed. But what's amazing about children is they develop so quickly, and in just a matter of 12 weeks, the changes that they make to their physical appearance as well as their physical ability is remarkable. So it's an enjoyable program, but it's rather involved for them too, because it requires them to show up to 36 sessions. It requires them to see a nutritionist at our facility, and their parents to see a nutritionist at our facility, and keep a food journal, and keep coming back.
It's after school or
It
weekends?
is after school. It's 6
after
to
school?
7 p.m. So they have an all full day of school, and then aerobic exercise afterwards, and then following through with the proper eating, diet, and take-home training too. So it's a big commitment for the kids.
You're directing this to a specific age group and a specific type of child in terms of their environment or who they are?
Yes, we've directed it towards kids who are 12 years old and 10 years old. So that junior high school area, which we feel is a very impressionable age. It's an age where they're starting to formulate what it is that they're doing in the community in terms of sports or activities. And a lot of these kids that we've been able to recruit really aren't involved with soccer, or they're not involved with football or other community events like that. So to bring them into cycling, which is really one of those things that everywhere else in the world people embrace cycling as a way of transportation. But to get them involved at the same time of year when the entire town of Tucson is getting excited about cycling through El Tour de Tucson, is just a great opportunity to bring them into the community.
The 10 to 12-year-olds, you mentioned something about, because of their inactivity, some of the obesity problems that you've seen, and maybe even mentioned that may be one of the reasons that you thought this program should be directed in that area. What are some of the other things that you see this program benefiting? How do you see them benefiting the children?
Well, for sure obesity, and we know, it's well publicized now that obesity is a major problem in our country. And in large part, there are dietary considerations and there's activity levels. As we move towards a more technological age, kids are doing less. And they're doing less for a lot of reasons. Well, a reason that people would be active is because they have a place to do it, or they have a group to do it with, or they have a community that supports them in doing that. So the great thing about our program is that we're including the parents into this. Not only the parents but are involved with the supporting the kids, but also they get to attend the nutrition seminar so that they understand that what we're trying to accomplish is an overall health. One of the best ways to treat people who have afflictions due to obesity is to try to prevent it. And so the more education and the more encouragement that we can give young people to learn about eating properly and being active in the community at this age, the more likely we are to actually prevent what could be more costly injuries and illnesses later in life.
Are you pushing the children to, and that's probably a bad term in anybody's language to push a child, but encouraging these children to race, or is that even having races? It sounds like at least you are having the races and encouraging them to get on the bikes and compete, correct?
Correct to a certain extent. We definitely want it to be a team-oriented thing and a team-building exercise. So we do try to keep the children together for the most part. So we're not pitting them against one another or racing them against one another. So we don't want to get into weighing them or measuring them or making them feel any different than any others. Because one of the side benefits too is we draw from a whole different diversity, ethnic backgrounds, social, stratification of, well, everything goes into this. So we get people from the foothills all the way from the south side, and a neat school in town called Amagio Day. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but it's a privately funded school for low-income families, and families, maybe single parents, 6 kids, that kind of thing. And so the school has provided us with access to some of the children that really need help.
So you are working with the school?
We are working with the school, and then taking kids from the foothills. So you get this mix of children that may be at risk for a variety of reasons, whether it's weight or social welfare or income or whatever it might be. So you bring all these people together and try to make them more of a team and understand each other and their own backgrounds and put them together. So we do actually do the race, but we're not just say, go, everybody do the best you can. We're going to try to keep them together and move through the event as quickly as we can, but as a team.
Let me regress just a moment and ask, how do you get the word out to the children? Is it strictly through the schools? I know you said you've had a number of community outreach through TV, that kind of thing. But do the schools actually allow you to put out brochures and things like that and say it's a program that they are sponsoring too, right? Tell us a little bit more about this. The actual one that we're talking about, the Proactive L Tour, is that a specific bicycle race, or what is that?
Well, El Tour de Tucson is the race.
El Tour de Tucson.
Right. It's Perimeter Bicycle Association, and they've actually adopted the program as an official program of El Tour. So we're affiliated with them, but we work through Proactive Physical Therapy and Pyramid Coaching to train them at our facility, but then we go and do the El Tour de Tucson. So the name just relates to the race.
Oh, okay. Where does all of this occur? Where do the kids come to ride the bicycles and get the nutrition help?
Well, at Proactive Physical Therapy, at our central clinic, which is located on Alvernon and River Road, which is nice because it's located right on the river path. So we have a clinic there. It's about 3,000 square feet that we actually help people not only get better from injuries and help with their pain, but we also have a fitness facility. And at this fitness facility, Scott also works in the space, and he trains athletes. And then we go ahead and we help them at that space.
Let's show our viewers where they can get they can get the information by calling you at 603-4874. And is that 3945 East Paradise Falls Drive? Is that where the location? Is that the location?
That is great. That's the location right there on the screen, right?
And www.pyramidcoaching.com is where they can go on the website to find out more information of it.
Or that slide.
Or 321-0204 is another number they can call.
That's correct.
And that's Proactive
Physical Therapy.
PT.com.
Right.
so they can get more information about this program and where they can go to get this program. Do they sign up at school, or can they just call you and sign up and come in?
You know, the program so far has been running just 3 months, 36 training sessions.
Okay.
So, but we are going to extend the program, which we'll get into a little bit more later, to go year-round. So, there hasn't been a sign-up per se, except for when the program's running. But we have used physician referrals, pediatricians, different schools around town, word of mouth, those kinds of things to acquire the children. So they have signed up at some schools, yes.
Right, and you did say you are extending it, and we would talk about it later. We might as well jump right in here and talk about it right now.
Let's do it. So we've been running it through El Tour and then stopping it at that point, and the children kind of go back to their own world and do their thing, keep the bikes and the equipment if they've completed the program. That's the benefit, is they get the uniforms, the helmets, which of course are required here in Arizona, and by law, if you're under 18, you have to wear them, which is a great idea because
and everybody should wear them over 18
they
also,
save
right?
tons of lives. I don't care if you're riding to Circle K, if you're riding 110 miles, you should have a helmet on your head.
Right.
But this year, we're going to try to make the program. We're going to try to integrate the kids into the cycling community, not just leave them hanging after El Tour. We're going to more involve them in trying to have clubs lead rides for them, have us continue to have developmental work with them, and maybe transition them into the whole world of cycling and the sport. So we'd like to have rides every 2 to 3 weeks with the kids and keep in contact and keep bringing them back. Another way that we're going to do that is bringing the kids back to mentor. We did that this year. We brought 4 kids back to mentor the kids this year from last year.
Mentors,
exactly. And so we're going to continue with that. We may bring 6 or 7 back next year to mentor the new kids. So it's a good way to involve them and let them teach and really let them be involved. So.
Do you have any kind of summer programs?
We don't, but that's what
about?
We're building right now is summer programs. So we may target another event, or we may just keep it open-ended as we're continuing training with them. And maybe they'll want to do the 60-miler next year, not the 35. So
I know that we have actually professional cyclists coming in to Tucson. We talked a little bit about that for training. Perhaps you've already done this, but hooking up with some of them to actually get them involved with the children sounds like a good idea to me. Have you considered that, and are you?
Absolutely. We actually have some of those cyclists working out with us right now at Proactive. And Scott was one of the top finishers of El Tour de Tucson years ago. So these kids are really getting exposed.
Nobody said years ago. I'm sorry, Scott.
No,
it
wasn't that long. But no, there are some professional cyclists right now, and one of the top possible winners on this Saturday's race has been working out with us. So, an opportunity to involve these kids with these kind of professional athletes, I think it's a great interaction and really provides some encouragement and some real positive role models as well.
Right.
What's cool is in Arizona, there's about 55 active cycling clubs, and they have anywhere between 10 and 400 members each.
Mm-hmm. And that's true in Tucson as well as the rest of Arizona.
Yeah,
correct?
The majority are in Phoenix and Tucson, clearly. So we have an enormous resource pool to find cyclists willing to help us extend the program.
Great. I have met a few of them myself, and some of them are very passionate about this. Mm-hmm. The program itself, you mentioned your background in physical therapy. Is there anything else besides the cycling that's involved? Is it mainly geared to that and nutrition? What else about the program would you like to mention that's included in your physical therapy approach?
Well, the program overall tries to involve all elements of fitness. So that would be knowledge and understanding in what it is that you put into your body through nutrition. It's also aerobic type conditioning. So riding a bicycle is one example. Jogging, for example, for a period of time. Sometimes it's even playing soccer or playing a game like that can be part of the training. There's also weight training. So they have them do some we have them do some resistance training as well, so that they can begin to develop their muscles and bones, and also some balance exercises, so they can actually learn some coordination and balance and try to integrate their nervous system into a healthy development.
I think that getting support for this program sounds like a really important part of it. Unless you're both independently wealthy and just fund this whole thing yourself. And if that's not true, how do you think we can get support what kinds of things would you like to mention in this area?
We've gotten support thus far.
You're not independently
We are
wealthy,
not
then.
independently wealthy. I mean, that is for sure. We know this. No, we've gotten support already from two great benefactors, and one is the Wallace Research Foundation, and the other is the Zuckerman Family Foundation. Everyone knows the Zuckerman Family Foundation has done a great job of creating an environment in Tucson through Canyon Ranch and many other.
So you have a number of sponsors.
There are a
and
number of
we're
sponsors,
Yeah, we
right.
can see those on the
Yeah,
screen right
exactly. And Perimeter Bicycling has done a great job. Tri-Sports has stepped up to really put together a lot of the equipment. Scott Bicycles has stepped up and donated a lot of the equipment itself. There are, like I said, there are a number of great sponsors that have contributed because it's such a great program for the community and especially those who are interested in healthcare.
How can other people help you? How can other people support? What kinds of things are you looking for, and how can they do that?
Well, any private donations are obviously very well received. and
Money's always good.
People can
Yes,
donate
okay.
through Perimeter Bicycle Association. They're a nonprofit 501, and donations can be made through that service. And also even volunteers, people with time that want to come out and ride with us to help keep an eye on the kids. Any kind of support is needed. We're going to have a availability where people can either support a rider, they can purchase a bike and donate towards a child, they can purchase a uniform or a helmet. So from small donations all the way to sponsoring a child for the entire season or for El Tour de Tucson. So there's a variety of opportunities.
So everybody can get involved. This is a Tucson community effort,
Certainly.
right? And they can, you can contact these people with this program at 321-0204, www.proactivePTphysicaltherapy.com, and the other number is 603-4874, and this is www.pyramidcoaching.com. What do you see as the next steps for what are the next steps for your program? Where do you see yourself going?
And as I was talking about before, long term, being able to involve these kids not only for 3 months, but for 12 months, the entire season, and having them become involved in other cycling activities and other cycling groups, and then transitioning into the community as a whole. And obviously not everybody is going to want to become a professional level cyclist or an elite racer or anything, but even if we can keep them involved in sport and activity and fitness, sometimes you make exercise fun and it goes by pretty quickly. They don't even know they're working out. Sometimes when we're playing games, they're just running around completely anaerobic, having a great time. So we want to expand the program, not only in terms of the number of people that we reach, but we want to involve the community more, where some of the local clubs and volunteers are taking on some of the activities with the kids and involving them in a more expansive environment. So not only more kids, but longer term as well.
So benefit to the community, besides the obvious, getting our children involved in these kinds of programs, what else do you see as benefits to the Tucson community? Is there anything I'm missing here, or have you worked closely with other members of the Tucson community? Obviously you have a number of sponsors, people are involved in this, and you two sound, I'm not sure I should use the word passionate about it.
Well, we're pretty passionate about it, and I think it revolves around our willingness and our desire and our passion, really, to improve healthcare. I mean, when we reach into the community to try to do things that are preventative or proactive, if you will, you get a great response. And when you get the opportunity to bring community around, especially children, and getting kids active, then you really can get a result that can make a difference. Getting kids passionate about cycling is really something that we're interested in doing, and it really is happening.
The other benefit is clearly awareness.
Right.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people really realize until they're faced with it that kids have a problem. They're at risk in some of these environments, and there's an easy way to help them transition into doing something that's better for themselves. You
mentioned 10 to 12-year-olds. Are you expanding or going to expand your program to other ages? Because I know a lot of like 15-year-olds or
we may at some point. It's a problem of resource, right? I mean, we need to have the space, the availability, the equipment, the coaches, etc. So to cover a wide spectrum takes more people, more time, more money. Right now there is a group in town called Bicus, and there's a
I'm sorry, they're called what?
BICAS, BICAS, and gentleman Ignacio is very generous also, and he trains kids about a 14 to 17-year age range. So we may have an area to transition them from our age group to their age group to the adult age group. So.
All right. How many kids have you had involved to date? Did you mention that? I may have missed it.
Approximately 35, and then if you get the volunteers and everybody that's been associated with the program, there's probably almost 100 people that have been involved at this point.
Because
So
you get the parents involved.
parents, volunteers, kids, and then sometimes siblings and offspring and mentor. The whole process is involved and touched a lot of people. So, well, obviously we'd like to expand that and reach as many children as we can.
When exactly is this L Tour that I don't even know if we mentioned the time frame.
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Saturday
This
morning.
Saturday,
21st.
The 21st?
Yes, starts right here at the Tucson, well, right near the Tucson Convention Center. And there's 4 different distances, 109, there's approximately an 80, a 60, and a 35. And with the young kids, we're doing a 35-miler.
And how many young kids do you have signed up for it now?
We have about 17 in the group, and then a lot of volunteers and parents, so we're going to be probably close to 40 people out there. So.
All right, so you're looking for active supporters and yellers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think they're called that, are they? Yellers?
Sure, you can call them yellers.
Fans.
Right.
Fans, true.
Exactly.
Right. So tell me again where it's starting and what time. You just told me, and
Tucson Convention Center, approximately. I think they moved it a little bit due to some construction, so it might be right near the library in between there. And I think it starts at 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing this happen, and if you have a couple of extra bikes, hold one for me. I might jump on and keep going with you. It's been a pleasure to have you both with us. It sounds like you're doing some fantastic work in the community. I think working with children in this way is one of the best ways I could think of.
Good,
to give back to the community.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time.